Hi, folks, and welcome. I'm 1 minute early, I think, but I am Angela Ramsey, and I am here for Edgar Casey's A.R.E. to share with you information about crystals and vibrational energy and medicine. And I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy you're here. I have been doing crystal work for a good while, and it's my passion. Uh, and apparently it's contagious. And I have a lot of people wanting consultations on crystals, and it's just something that makes me really happy. And I'm happy to share that with you. And I want it to be an open forum and us to be broad minded about it. Um, if someone tells you they know everything about crystals, it's impossible just about because there's so many and so many varied pieces of information that it's impossible to know everything. But something I love to talk about and deal with, and clearly I have them all around me all the time. So I wanted to kind of start from a broad perspective. I try to look at things from a broad perspective. And when I look at Edgar Casey's readings, I kind of look at him that way as well, because he, of course, did readings for individuals. But when I look at them, I try to see what I can take from that and leave the rest. It's a good philosophy. Take what you like and leave the rest. Same with this show. I'm not a geologist, but I know a lot about crystals, and they are my friends, in my opinion. So I really enjoy them, and I'm hoping I can help you see some of that. Um, I have a few readings that I was going to do as well at some point, but I wanted to kind of start with the broad view of crystals and how they're made, where they come from. They actually grow in the ground. And I say that a lot of times, they grow, so they're alive, right? Well, no, they're not really exactly alive, but they're composed of atoms. And depending on the circumstance and the environment, they add more atoms to themselves, and they do it in an exact way. It's replicated exactly alike. I don't want to bore you with a lot of science, but it's been studied. They mostly have equal uh, sides and sizes. They multiply that way depending on the type of crystal. And back in 1914, there was a test done with X-rays to quartz, and the quartz interrupted the flow of the X-ray, and it went through the quartz in exact lattice measurements, and that's been studied a lot. In fact, that's an infraction way of studying a crystal and how it's made up. So crystals are mined from the ground, and I would suggest that there are many ways for you to learn about them. I joined a local rock club, was one of the first things I did, and there are many varied viewpoints on crystals. If you get around a rock club, people that mine, generally they love the crystals and stones, but they don't really see the spiritual side of them. And there's not a lot of scientific evidence to say that, just like with psychic phenomena, it's hard to prove. And some people stay on the science side alone, and that is okay. Again, take what you like and leave the rest. If you go to some of these rock clubs, you will find you'll be able to sign up and get free specimens. You'll get to do raffles and get free specimens. You'll get to go on digs. You'll get to know the best places to find some crystals. There's a lot to gain from the rock clubs, and they can also help you polish crystals and cut crystals and things like that. A couple of the nights I went, I think it's once a month here, they had a geology professor whose family used to drill for oil, and she understood the earth and its different plates and how to see different levels of crystals that way. So you get a lot of insight from looking at the science side of things. And then we go over to the prospect of spiritual and how can a crystal help you, etc. And most of Edgar Casey's readings indicate vibrational healing, right? They apparently have a vibration. I believe they have a vibration. And his insight was more about vibrations and aligning yourself with a vibration that would help you or lift you. So I see them as an assisting tool. They provide assistance. They give you a certain vibration that helps certain things. I wouldn't, if you have a real ill problem, a real health problem, I wouldn't suggest a crystal would heal it. That's kind of missing what you might really need in terms of medicine. But they certainly can help you in ways of calming and providing a vibration of healing. And I think that's what he mentions in a few of his readings. So they do assistance in terms of like healing mats. There are healing mats that use amethyst, tourmaline, other types of crystals. And what it is they're the infrared heat behind them, and they emit healing vibration that way. So that's why I look at them as assistance mechanisms. So I was going to kind of show you how clear quartz crystal has been used to assist electronics and watches. They get small pieces that oscillate and promote the transfer of energy. I wouldn't call them a conductor, they're an assister. They push it out there. So there's a reason that people are using them for that. But I have a tuning fork I thought I would show you, because I showed people this and they're like, what? Because it's actually tuned to quartz. And of course, during these shows, we're going to do these once a month. I'm going to show you crystals. I have tons of them. And I love to show them and let you see them. This is an ancient twin quartz. Sorry, I'm getting used to my camera. You can see it's got two pieces. That's a twin. Clear crystal quartz is one of the big healer quartzes. It also holds energy, so to speak. So it needs to be cleansed. And we'll go over that in another show. I don't want to do cleansing tonight. I'm just trying to give you a broad perspective of the science side versus the not science side. And some people can understand that vibration is there, right? So if I go through my house and touch a lot of my crystals, I can feel my vibration rise, and other people feel it too. So there's something to it. But anyhow, let me see if this works. I'll show you. It doesn't make a lot of noise if they're cleansed. So I brought a few to try and see if I can show you what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can hear this or not, but what I'm doing is putting the tuning fork near the crystal, and it makes a little sound like a high hum that apparently is a very cleansing tool. It cleanses the quartz, and it also cleanses us, and it's almost like a karmic smudge, so to speak. This one's not making a lot of noise. I must have cleansed that one. I'll try another one. Oh, here we go. This one must need some cleansing. This is a little quartz flame. Again, I apologize. I'm trying to get used to the camera. At least you can see me, right? I don't have everything down pat. You hear that? That cleanses the quartz, but it also cleanses the room for us, which we need, right? We can't have enough of that. This is a piece of amethyst. Let's see if you can see it. This is natural. And we will go over the way quartz are polished or not, or natural or not. This is a natural piece. This is like a huge point that's found in a group of clusters, but this must have been a big cluster, because you can see it's just naturally pulled out of the cluster. And I'm gonna see if this will tune to this. It usually makes more noise with clear quartz, but this is a quartz. It's amethyst is a quartz. Generally, if you can see through it, it's a type of quartz. Oh yeah, that's got some noise. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it's definitely got some noise. Yeah. So anyhow, we can consider ourselves cleansed now. And you may have some idea of, yeah, there's some vibration there. So that's what I think of as the healing part of quartz, or not quartz, of crystals. And I tend to resonate with the ones that make me feel the best. And that's what I would suggest for you too. And I also suggest for people that a good thing is, if you don't know much about crystals, pick one that you really like and you feel comfortable with, and do some research on it. Google it, look it up. There's tons of books out there. This is one of the first books, and I'm seeing it backwards myself. I don't know if you can see it properly or not, but it is called Gems and Stones, and it's a compilation of Edgar Cayce's readings on stones. I think the first time it was published was like 1960, and it's really nice because you can kind of see a lot about what he felt about them. And this is another one that I find very interesting, that is vibrational medicine. Sorry, I see a light shining. And it talks about varied ways of crystal healing and other vibrational healing, because there's many different types of it. But, I just want you to understand that this is an open-minded thing, and your intent is everything. This doesn't have to be all that serious, and it doesn't have to be exact. because, like I said, you will find you'll see 10 different books and read about one crystal, and they'll all say something different, and you're like, wait, well, that didn't make any sense because this book said that. Kind of go with what your gut is telling you, you know. And of course, they say that if you go towards crystals, whatever you pick up first is what you should take. Well, that's partially true, and I think that you if you can kind of calm down the way they look to you and go towards what you're drawn to energetically, it's probably a good crystal for you. And you can tell it if you're around them enough which ones you're drawn to. And I'm drawn to certain ones, I'm not drawn to certain ones. And I know why, because I know what they are energetically for me. So I can kind of figure that out. But I have friends come over and I let them look at my crystals. I'm like, I just want to know what are you drawn to? And I'll kind of encourage them with this exercise. And I'm amazed to find sometimes that they're oftentimes drawn to the ones that could actually help them. Okay, so you want to know how they help you. Well, you can't take them like a pill, right? So there's many ways to do this. And we are going to go blue orbs. That's cool. I hope that's a good thing, Teresa. Um, I am, I've not done a Facebook Live for myself before. So just be glad that I figured the camera out, and then we'll do the rest. But I will be answering questions later if I don't get to them now. But I sure appreciate you guys being here because this is just so much fun for me. So you can't, like I was saying, you can't take a crystal. That's not how you use them exactly. There are many ways to use them. Again, don't get overwhelmed by that either. Your intent is everything. And if your intent is that this crystal makes you feel a certain way and you like it and you want to hold it, great. That's what you should do. A lot of people meditate with crystals. And for that, I would maybe get a smaller one. This is just a small clear. And I brought a lot of clear because I wanted to make sure that tuner showed you the vibration. And if they're clear, it won't show it to you as well. But, and this is a nice smoky quartz. I like smoky quartz. It's a very calm, protective stone. And later we will get into different stones and what they do for some people, what they mean. I just wanted to give you a broad perspective tonight. So meditation is a really good thing to do, to feel the energy and try to see, what you get out of that. For me, I have them all over the house and I just hold them. If I feel like holding one, I hold them. There's a stone called lepidolite, which is like a purple shimmery stone because it has mica in it. Some stones naturally have mica in them. That's really how you can tell what they are. Lepidolite also has lithium in it, and there are a few stones that do have lithium, and that is a great one if you have rambunctious children around and you give them a couple of those stones to hold on to. It calms them, and I've seen it happen because some of my friends have brought kids over here, and the first thing I give them is the lepidolite because I know that. I have a friend that mines it in California, and that's what she does when people come visit. And pardon me, I have to have some water. She gives the children lepidolite to calm them, and it really does work. It's also a good tool for grief and depression, any kind of calming. Selenite is a good universal cleansing stone, and I can't answer all questions at the moment, but if I see one, I will. I have selenite plates that I put stones on to clear the energy, and they also kind of clear the energy in the room as well. It's a great overall cleansing stone, and I have it all over the place. But let's try to be positive and tolerant of different viewpoints. I don't want to be a strenuous person about this. This is too much fun to attribute seriousness and hardcore lines on. You can use, somebody might like amethyst to sleep with. Some people sleep with stones. I have stones around my bed, but I'm careful not to have the real active ones because there's a few that are pretty active, and I feel like they keep me awake. For me, amethyst does that. Other people love to sleep with amethyst. It's a great stone of healing and psychic connection, and it also helps with addiction. It's the great addiction stone. So, but nevertheless, some people love it, and so who am I to say that that's not working for them? This is not about judgment. This is about using your intuition and doing what feels right for you. And if you just want to look at stones and that's all you want to do, then that's great. they all are made of different things. They have different inclusions. Um, and sometimes it's just people just want to look at them and they really don't want to think of other properties. And I'm okay with that too. There's no musts here. The only thing we must do is be open-minded and respectful and see what we can do with that. Another thing people do with stones, of course, I wear them. This is an azurite stone. Edgar Casey mentions lapis a lot in his readings, and he also mentions another form of lapis, which turns out to be azurite. And I'm drawn to azurite. It's a very ancient healing stone. If you notice, stones are mentioned in lots of ancient areas. The pyramids, the Bible. Gemstones have been around for a long time, and I can't think that they have no properties whatsoever because people thought they did a long time ago, and they still do. So another thing you can do, they make grids. And a grid is kind of, if you will, it's a mandala type of laying the stones out so that they're kind of evenly, it doesn't have to be even stones, but most people will do a certain stone in a certain place. And they make, for lack of a better way to put it, because I'll show you some later, like a star shape, like I'll put a few clear quartz, a few smoky quartz, black tourmaline in the middle, and they do it all the way around kind of the same way to promote a certain thought. Okay, if it's healing or making money or protection, a lot of different things that they'll use certain stones to do that for. Those are very powerful tool. I really don't do that very much because I just like them all around me. I don't really give them too many rules. Although I will tell you this, because I have so many, it is possible that they could just, blow the foundation off my house, I would think, with that much vibration. So I tell them to calm down and be good. That's what I say. I mean, I know that they are not people, but I love them and respect them and want them to be happy. So that's kind of another thing I was going to bring up. And we're going to bring up clearing stones, and I'll show you different ways to do that. But they grew in the ground, underground. They're mined underground, in the dark, in caves, sometimes in water. And I don't think they should be in the sun because of that. And you heard the singing, the so-called singing of the stone just now when I did the demonstration with the tuning fork. There's a lot of writings from the past that talk about stones singing. Well, I'm sure people hear different pitches, right? Different vibrations. So it's possible in my mind that could be true. But I have a friend of mine that's a psychic that said she went by a store one day, a crystal store, and she saw all these clear quartz in the window in direct sunlight. And she heard them screaming. And she went inside and told the lady, please get these out of the sun. They don't belong in the sun. So I'm not one that will tell you to charge or cleanse a crystal in the sunlight, because it just doesn't make any sense that it will go there, and it will fade your favorite crystals in a minute. I actually put some amethyst out one day because I didn't know any better, and it faded very, very quickly. Selenite lamp tower in the room. I think selenite's fine. Yeah, I have that in my bedroom too. It's a calmer stone to me. And that's what I kind of think in my mind between stones. There's calm ones, there's protection ones, and there's really exciting ones. And it says, are there stones that should not be placed together? I have got friends that'll tell you that. If you look at my house, every single stone in the world is together. I don't have them separated. I have some kind of grouped together, but I don't lay them on top of each other, but I do have them near each other. And I don't think they counteract each other, in my opinion, because they don't individually, hurt each other, I don't think. Okay, there's another one. How important is it not to put certain stones close together? I don't know. And do they die? Well, okay, let's put it this way. If they're growing, we know they don't have blood and vessels and things like that. So it's far to say that they're alive, but they do grow, and we know that. So when we bring them down or cut them out, I'm sure that they're not growing anymore. As far as dying, some crystals can grow dark, and some can be so laden with negative energy that they need to be cleansed to be effective, right? So they can be negative for you. And one of Edgar Casey's readings was to use them for good vibration and to bring good, and that if you use them for negative things, you're going to have negative back. Well, there's the question. I grew up in the South, and I get a lot of this, well, are you a witch? Or, those kind of weird questions. It's not a weird question. I have plenty of friends that are Wiccan and witches. I'm not a witch that I know of. I certainly don't, practice it anyway, but I do believe in good and doing good, and I try to spread good stuff, not bad stuff. So I'm all about stones of protection, and I that's what I started with. My very first stone was a protection stone, and it was a natural citrine. We'll talk about that too. There's a lot of information out there about citrine and what it is, because an amethyst can be heated to a point that looks like a golden yellow, and you can tell it's the same amethyst matrix. And then there's natural citrine, which is from the Congo, which is like a kind of a dull gold. And so there are two different things there, but they both have protective nature about them. And that's another thing I was going to bring up, is that in this healing world of ours, when you see things like essential oils or different things that heal, they all have a basic healing property, right? Like, it's not like they're hugely different. They just have small differences, and some essential oils are spicy and some can sting you and some don't. So I kind of feel that way about stones. I think they all have some kind of healing property. And hey, Margarita from South Carolina. Oh, I'm so happy y'all are here. Thank you so much. So let's see. I'm looking at the questions. Sorry. I don't want to do that. I don't want to take away from talking to look at questions. But please ask questions, because I'm happy to help and answer in any way I can. So at any rate, I was going to do a couple of readings. I want to read one thing from Edgar Cayce to kind of explain what I was telling you about the vibration, things that I see him say. And it says, and remember, these readings he's doing for a particular person. He was in a trance when he did his readings. He was unaware of what he was saying. So he had his secretary transcribe everything he said. And in the A.R.E., there are all of his transcriptions of his readings. So you can go there and look them up by subject matter, by illness, etc. There's a couple of different ways you can cross-reference and look them up. And I just think he was a fabulous human being, because he was very humble, and he did not take his gift for granted. At any rate, he did a few readings on crystals, and I thought I would read a couple of them, and you can take them as you like. I kind of take them from a broad perspective. And this is, as two stones have near to self, wear preferably upon the body around the neck the lapis lazuli, preferably encased in crystal, will not be merely an ornament, but as a strength from emanation, which will be gained by the body always from the same. For the stone itself, an emanation of vibrations of the elements that give vitality, virility, strength, and that of assurance and self. And of course, his readings were in a slight different dialect than normal, but I just kind of gleaned from that vibrational healing. And then I wanted to read something from the vibrational medicine book that I had showed you earlier. And that is, okay, I saw something about crystal I wanted to read you. Crystal energy, that is. Okay. Crystals have played important roles in many scientific discoveries, which have begun to revolutionize the way we think about the structure of consciousness and the universe itself. For instance, the ruby crystal was a key component in the first laser developed by Bell Laboratory scientists in the early 1960s. And then the use of crystalline technologies for the development of electronic systems has resulted in great strides in the way scientists are able to perceive the universe around us, because of the role of silicon technology and integrated circuitry. In the development of computer systems, we have been provided with new tools that can amplify our powers of memory and information storage. Crystals are beginning to provide human beings with the power to manipulate and transform knowledge itself in many new ways. And I'm not trying to be mysterious there. I'm just not a scientist, but I read things that make me understand. And Marianne Killer, oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, guys. Y'all are so sweet. I just want to broaden your mind a little bit. I don't think it's black and white. And I certainly feel the crystals healing around me. And I'm able to help other friends heal with them. I've given a few to people for certain things, and they They seem very appreciative of it. And I want to do one thing too. I thought every time maybe we would do some similar things. Like I'll do an Edgar Casey reading. I got some crystal cards. I'm not a card reader necessarily. I am an empath. I do see things that I don't really have any reason to see. I'm mostly reading energy from people, but I do have a tendency to be able to read somebody pretty quick. But I'm going to pull a card so that you can have a crystal to think about. And I'm just going to pull one. This will give you something to think about until next time. And the next time I thought we would go over the thing of how do I know which crystal for me, or how is it that I pick one, etc. And I'm going to show you some more crystals, some more fabulous crystals. Okay. I'm picking jade. Jade is what I just picked out. Jade. And I'm going to go to the book and tell you what it says about jade, because it doesn't read it right there. I have to go to the book and read it. Okay, jade. Take the high road. You have the power to choose how to interact with the people in your life. You can either lift each other up or drag each other down. You can be small and give your power away, or you can be the bigger person and stand strong in your convictions. To elevate your spiritual maturity, be mindful, respond instead of react. Don't take things personally. Listen without getting defensive. Instead of letting conversations and encounters get to you, brush them off and maintain your composure. This is your power. Sometimes you may say more by keeping silent and get farther by remaining still. My friend Priscilla, who's sitting there, I know would tell me that, because I tend to say what I think sometimes too quick. At any rate, it's all in good intent, because I wish the best for my friends and people around me. And that's what I want to bring, is healing. So any questions coming up that you want me to answer? Let's see. I'm going to look through and see if I see anything. Use up the energy of a stone by holding everything. Can you use up the energy of a stone by holding? I would say they can be filled with energy, and mostly quartz crystal. Clear quartz is the most crystal that absorbs the most energy and needs to be cleansed and recharged, so to speak. And you can do that with many different ways, and I'll explain that. I want to do that on another show. But I don't like sunlight. Sunlight's not the one thing I would use. Anything else, maybe. Have you ever seen triangles appear in a crystal that did not have triangles prior? Not triangles. I actually had one crystal I got that, of all the crystals I've gotten, that felt like it had dark energy when I got it. It was a smoky quartz, this is the stone I was showing you earlier. This is a smoky. And I'll get this camera one day so you all see everything I'm trying to show you, because I know I'm not real good with that. That's a smoky quartz. I had a smoky that I got that felt funny to me, and I want that to know that when I'm in my house, because it makes a difference to me, my energy. I want everybody to be happy here, and it felt very dark. And I looked it up, and they were like, "Well, you can throw it away, you can cut it and get rid of it, all this kind of thing." So I buried it in the dirt in my flower bed. I went down pretty far with it and buried it, because I was told you could do that, and if you think about it, they're mined from the ground in caves and underground, and they have to be excavated, so they're comfortable there. So I left it there for 6 months, because it was a pretty crystal. It was big, but it was dark. I left it there for 6 months, and I went back and dug it up, and it turned a much lighter color. It really changed, I think, spiritually. Maybe it was biomechanical or biochemical. I think it was spiritual, because it didn't feel dark to me anymore. And I was so glad that I was patient with it, because I just can't imagine a stone would hold negative energy forever, but maybe I'm open. They could. But so far, that's the only properties I've seen change. I do hear that they change, though, and I hear that they break. People get upset that they break. Sometimes people say they're supposed to do that. And if they do, you can share a piece of it and keep a piece of it. For me, I will stick it in a plant. I'll stick the broken piece in a plant where the rest of it's sticking up, so it's something fun to look at. So it's 6:28 p.m. now, so we're getting almost ready to the end here. And I just can't tell you how much I appreciate it. This is a wonderful forum, and I plan to keep doing it for a long time. So the next time, what I want to do is go over how do I know what's right for me and what I need, and what do I do with that crystal when I get it home, etc. So with that, I will say goodbye and thank you, and stay safe, and I hope to see you soon.